Hey guys, don't need to spend hours at a video editor to make this one. Let's talk about this bullshit that Nathan Hoaxley has come out with the angle of attack. It's just a variation on the idea that things will disappear bottom up due to perspective. What we've got here is a spirit level, and this is going to be important for two reasons. One, because we can have it actually level, and because we know the surface is nice and flat. And I've got an object sitting at the end of that flat surface. We'll talk about this a wee bit more in a minute, but what Nathan is trying to say is that from your angle of view, let me just move down. What Nathan's trying to say is that if this is you or your camera, the lower and lower you get towards the surface, your angle to the bottom of this is going to make the bottom of it disappear. Let's explain really quickly why that is complete nonsense. If that were true, you could never see the whole of an object when it goes above or near to your eye level. In other words, anything that moves up past the eye level area or near to it, by the same rules, the bottom of it would disappear, which of course never happens. We can move it up and down. We can look at objects up in the sky because the angles would be the same. If that object moves up through your line of sight, then your angle still reaches this point. So then that leaves us with the problem that it's about the surface itself and not about the angle to the object, or a combination of both, that somehow the surface interferes when you reach a certain angle. And all the demonstrations performed by Nathan and all the clowns that believe him all involved using an uneven surface. It's already been debunked very well by Miles Davis, who had a much better setup. But in order to make it really clear, the simple and obvious thing to do is remove the potential for an uneven surface to be causing the obstruction, which is why we've got the spirit level. Because we can look down the length of the spirit level and keep reducing our angle and see that the bottom of the battery in this case won't disappear until I block my line of view with the very edge of this. But so long as there's an angle above, no matter how shallow, we'll be able to see it. Now what I'm going to do is move away. And this is the whole point. If we think that distances involved make a difference, all I need to do is view an object on a surface we know is level from a distance and see whether we can see the bottom of it or not, assuming that this object that it's sitting on isn't what's actually blocking it out. Okay, so this is handheld, so it's going to be a bit shaky. I've moved away from the spirit level. I'm looking at a slightly downward angle from above. And if I slowly, bring the camera down. Reducing the angle constantly. Try and keep it in shot. What you find is that the surface of the spirit level becomes more and more contracted with distance. And eventually we'll get to the point where the edge of the spirit level is at eye level. Now remember, if you're looking at something above the surface, you can never get your eye level to zero. You're always above. And what you'll notice is that I need to get my eye level to the 0 point. And even then, what we're looking at is the edge of the spirit level and the bottom of the battery. None of it has been occluded yet. It will only start to occlude when I go below 0. When I start lowering to the point where the edge of the spirit level is now above eye level. In other words, if there was a surface extending out to the camera here, my camera would start to go into and below the surface, and that's the only way that this is getting blocked. So to bring it back up again to a very shallow angle, you can see at no point is it any of this battery disappearing because of a shallow angle across the surface, because we've eliminated the problem with there being a surface between here at the camera and where the battery is located having bumps and rises in it that will block the line of sight. So no blockage in the line of sight, it's sitting on a levelled, very flat surface, and there is no occlusion at the bottom as we move up and down. I know it's a bit jumpy, but we can keep moving up and down and you'll see. It's only when I have to go below that point. So if I keep going, sorry about this, but it's hard with the zoom. I might zoom it out a bit, hold on. If I go below, then obviously we're now looking at an upward angle towards the bottom of the battery, and the top edge of the spirit level is in the way. But come back up, let's see. You see it every time I get an angle that's just slightly above the edge and looking down, which is necessarily the case in any observation we make when we're standing above the surface of the earth with a camera on a tripod. We can see every part of that object. What you're seeing in examples that have been passed around by people like Hoaxley and Good Times for All and any of the other people that are involved in pushing this stupid idea. Let me just zoom out while I do this to show you the distance. There's two things happening. In some cases you've just got lumps and bumps in the way. The surface isn't even. The other problem you've got is that if the surface is smooth and shiny, for example factory floors, you'll get the reflection of the object along that surface. You can see that happening if you look carefully at the spirit level. This is what's happening, is you're getting this diffused reflection running across a smooth surface, but the surface isn't perfectly level and flat, it's lumpy. So it's a combination of a reflection and an actual obstacle between the camera and the bottom of the object. Perspective can never hide anything from the bottom. It's complete nonsense, and as I pointed out, if that were true, then if this battery or any object were to move to the same kind of angles that Nathan is talking about, without a surface between you and it, then according to what he's saying, purely by the angle, parts of it would disappear. But of course that never happens. If I move down, you never see the bottom of the spirit level disappearing because of the angle I'm looking at it. So the angle itself doesn't do it. It requires a surface, and if it's a smooth, flat surface, it does not hide anything. It's only when the surface itself obstructs the bottom because the surface is uneven and actually blocking the line of sight to the camera. Sorry about the jumpy camera work, but I forgot my tripod. Hopefully that's explained the point. Cheers guys.